2 is Mr. Matthew Hale. His evaluator is Mr. George Lund. And his speech today.
Matthew is doing a level 2 presentation from Presentation Mastery. It's Connect with Storytelling. His purpose today is to practice using a story within a speech or giving a speech that is a story. His time is 5 to 7 minutes. His title is Grandma's House.
Grandma's House. Welcome to the front of the lectern, Mr. Matthew Hale.
My grandma moved here from Wisconsin in like the 70s, I think. Had my mom and my uncle, and they all lived down by, kind of close to here, by Samstown. And my mom grew up there, and then eventually went to college at UNLV, and then my dad, they bought a house on Windmill in Valley Verde, and then they moved to where we live now on Horizon in Valley Verde. I don't even know where I live. And my mom she's kind of crazy, and she's always had these crazy ideas. She's wanted to move the washer and dryer into the garage. She's wanted to build a basement. But one of the ideas she's always wanted to do is buy a house for her mom. And the house she really wanted was the one right behind ours. We live on a corner, and right behind our house is another house right there. It's a little bit higher than ours. And she's always wanted to do that since we moved into our house when I was born. And one day she put my dad up to a task to cut our neighbor's tree that was hanging over our yard. So that didn't end well. He had cut it and it didn't get a clean break, so you could tell that he had cut the tree. So then, I don't know if it was a couple of days later or the same day, our neighbor was cutting our tree that was hanging over his yard. And my mom, being the confrontational person she is, went up to him and they got in a yelling match or whatever. I don't know, I was really young. But I still remember my dad went up there, cooled everything off, and this was in about 2008, and they found out that he was upside down on his house and he was going to lose it. So my mom was actually very happy that they had that conversation, because she found out that he was going to lose the house. And meanwhile, we started to see his wife. It wasn't showing up anymore. We never saw her. So I'll come back to that later. So, once she found out that he was going to lose his house, and he eventually did lose the house, she checked on, I'm not really sure how the housing market works and how the process goes, but she would check on, I think, some website that shows when they're being listed every single day, multiple times a day. And as soon as it hit the market, she called our realtor and said that we had to put an offer on it. But it had to stay open for a certain amount of days, I believe. And that Friday night, there was so many people that went to go visit the house. And being that we were right next to it, and we have a pretty big backyard, so my parents had put in speakers so we could, when they were doing yard work, listen to music. So my mom figured the best way to make people not want to buy this house, so she could get this house, was to blast Mexican music. Meanwhile, though, there was another house across the street that was also up for sale that was a lot nicer than this one. So she was out there, and people were asking her questions. She had to sneak out of our house so she didn't see some white chick walking out of the house blasting Mexican music. And people were asking her, like, do they always do this? This is crazy. And she's like, yeah, they're really weird people. And she asked how the house is. And it was pretty nasty. There was like dead cockroaches over there. There was really bad carpet. And she was like, that house over there is really nice, the one across the street. Because we had to go look at it, and it was very nice. It wasn't foreclosed or anything. They were just selling it. And that same night, me and my brother were in, we were taking karate lessons or something. So we had to get in our car and lay down so no one could see a bunch of white people leaving his house. And my dad, being the darkest of us, driving, didn't lay down. And after we got back though, it was even busier. There was more people going to the house. And my dad, who was across the street talking to the neighbor, called my mom, told her to turn up the music even more. And this is after we put our offer in, because it had to stay on the market for a couple of days to see if anyone put in a higher offer. But eventually, no one else did, honestly, because why would you want to live there? And we got the house. So the very next day, the day after we got the keys to open it, we went in and basically took everything out, took it back down to the foundation and just the walls. We pulled out all the carpet, and then we started a 3-month process of completely renovating it. And from there, after we renovated, put in a whole new kitchen and everything, my mom surprised my grandma. They didn't know that they bought the house with a key, or a lock actually. It was to my great grandma, since my grandma was living with my great grandma after both their husbands had died way before I was born. And it was my great grandma's birthday, and they gave her a lock, and she was so happy to get a new lock for her house. She didn't realize it was actually for her new house.
Aww.
But she wasn't happy that she got a new house at first, because her sister who was there said, "I'm not going to visit you on that side of town." So, we did all this, and at first my great grandma was like, "I don't want this." And eventually she came around to it, and we had a surprise unveiling of the house where they walked in and saw everything all nice. Anyways, this was the story of how my parents, but specifically my mom, was crazy enough to do everything that she did to make sure that she got her house for her mom next door. And the biggest thing that happened there though was we were going to cut a hole in the wall to go across, and we were going to after we finished the house, because it wasn't technically against code, so we could still get in trouble for it. But after we spent all that time walking around, the next day we cut a hole in the wall, so now we go back and forth.
Aww.
Now I'm talking to them.
Aww.